So this is EVA foam. This is about how thick it is. This is just standard floor mat. So this is all the stuff I'm going to use to do my cosplay EVA foam dagger. Let me get into each and every thing here real quick. 100-watt hot glue gun, a Dremel, plastic dip. This is a black, and this is a clear. Clear can be hard to find. I found this at an automotive parts store. Barge rubber cement. Now you can buy Wellwood, which is in the stores. You'll have to probably go onto Amazon to get this, especially where I live on the East Coast. You're just not going to find that in the store. So it's well worth it. Barge is what shoemakers use to glue together shoes. Being leather lasts a long time, this stuff lasts a long time. It's very durable, stays flexible. The Wellwood tends to dry and crack and then starts to kind of give way. You can get this on Amazon in small tubes, $7 or $8. This is about $27-28. We got glazing putty. This is an automotive section. Good for small holes. You can fill it, sand it. Sharpies, because the EVA foam is black. The one that I have is black. I have light colored Sharpie markers, and these happen to be metal. So it's like a silver, two silver type, copper and a gold. Quick seal, caulking. Use that to smooth out the seams. Dries very fast. Use water in your finger. It's non-toxic, so, and you'll find that in just about any hardware store. X-Acto knife and a box cutter style knife. This has a retractable blade, and this has a lock on it. You can spin that, it locks it. I like that brand, it's real nice. WD-40 is for the Kershaw sharpener. This is a diamond sharpener. You can get these on Amazon. Kershaw makes really good knives, really good metal, really good products. I carry one with me all the time. You'll need this to sharpen these because the foam will dull them quickly. This little thing, it's like a Christmas dome, and what I did is just chop the little thing here off. This is like $1.49, and you get two halves, and there's the other half. I made like a something to bend my pieces over, and we'll get into that a little later. I got metal rulers. Now, you want to get metal rulers. Plastic ones aren't that great because your knife ends up cutting and nicking the sides and it ruins them. If you're going to get a metal ruler, try to find one that has this little cork strip on the back. And what that does is raises it up just enough to where if you're using ink, it doesn't wick underneath and cause all kinds of problems. Stick pins, because we're going to be putting a pattern onto the foam, and we're going to be using stick pins to hold it there. This is a little box I did in a previous video. Love this little box, and it's full of little jewels used for decorating. Maybe we'll put a jewel or two on the dagger. A cutting board. This cutting board, you can see how big it is. Those cutting boards can be really expensive if you buy them at like a fabric store or something like this. This one costs $19. If you go in a fabric store, this will probably run you $50. $19 on, I believe it was Amazon or eBay. I tend to buy a lot of stuff off eBay, and some of it does come from China, but you can't beat the prices. Nice big pair of scissors, spare blades. So this is just that plastic dome that I talked about. I roughed it up on the inside with some sandpaper, 2-part epoxy, right onto a dowel. It was about 1.25 inch dowel, and just ran a screw in the bottom. And it gives a platform to when we're going to use the heat gun to heat up the EVA foam, we can put it over it and bend it, mold it, shape it. And we got a hairdryer. Hairdryer is actually an old broken one. It doesn't have heat, it just blows air, but it will help dry up the cement. And the heat gun is just the cheap Harbor Freight $10
So
heat gun.
you got your tools. Now it's time to go get some patterns. If you go onto the internet, there are all kinds of free patterns. This lady has a YouTube channel and offers this for free. It's a little diagram or information on how to build armor. You can see she's quite good. She has like the armor on there. So this is free. This is what she looks like. This is who she is. There's Punish Props Academy. There's Evil Ted channel. I really like the Evil Ted patterns. He does a really nice job. Shows the scale, the date, the name of it. Just really done nicely there. There's a helmet. All these are free on their channel. If you just click below and it takes you to their website. This is from Punish Props. This is a pretty elaborate helmet with some horns on it. Lost Wax. This pattern is this sword, this shield, and it comes with instructions. This big battle axe, even an Iron Man helmet for free. So take a look at the channel, take a look at some of what they have to offer. If you're starting, free is always a good option. And then you can go back and buy their books and other patterns later. All right, so we're going to do the pattern from Evil Ted, the cat's paw dagger. So we'll just cut this out. We want to stay just outside the line. You just want to keep your eye right in front of where you're cutting. And you want to pull with your whole arm. You're not pulling just with your wrist or just your hand. This will give you a very smooth line. So basically this is what it's going to look like. I didn't bother going all the way in on these because we'll come back with a Dremel tool and carve out those details later. We do need to get a metal wire for support to run right here. All right, so we got these little stick pins and just pushed it in to hold these patterns down right into the foam, and we'll trace it. You want to keep all these little pieces. Little tiny pieces are going to be great for helping spread the glue. I put this on the sander. This is the blade cut out. Put it on the sander for a little bit, just kind of smooth things up a little bit, and took the pattern off of the back. I found the pattern, the raised pattern on the back of this a little much. So put it on the sander, sanded it down. I laid this blade on top of it, the pattern, and you see where that dotted line is. I just cut it, flipped it over here, made a line so you can see. And what I'm going to do is take this little 40-watt burner and go right down and open that up, so this 16 gauge galvanized wire with the bent over tip will lay right down in there. Give it a little flexibility, not too close to the end, so it'll be safe. Alright, so I just drug this right along and opened that channel right up. Really super easy, super fast. Be in a well ventilated area when you do it, because those fumes are something else. I'm sure they're toxic. This will go right down into here. And we'll take a thin piece of EVA foam and glue over top of this side. The wire fits right down in that channel now. So I'll glue the wire and the piece together, and we'll put glue all on this side. Flip it over onto this thin sheet of EVA foam, and the blade will almost be done as far as the construction of it. Now there is this other stuff, FOMO, and what this is a clay. It's soft. You mold it You let it air dry and it turns into foam, a foam sculpture of something. So this is fairly well known in the cosplay community. We'll see what we can do with some of this as well. So I laid the pattern over here, transferred these lines for these ridges, and I will just cut them out with a knife for now. You can do this with a rotary tool. I'm just more comfortable with a knife. Less dust too. All right, here we go. It is partly done. I put this on the belt sander and just kind of smoothed out the edges here. And I passed the torch over it real quick. And I like the way the torch got rid of all the fuzzies. There's still a few down here, but it got rid of the majority of them, actually better than the heat gun did. So I'm going to do a little bit more work on this to bring it down to more of a blade, more of a point. Alright, so I took some sandpaper, sanded this down, took my heat gun and heated it, and it looks pretty good. It's not exactly like the pattern, but I'm gonna using some artistic freedom to make this mine. Now what I'm gonna do is when I hit it with the heat gun or the torch, it opened up a bunch of little cracks, a little heat hole there. So I'm gonna go through with this quick seal caulking. a little bit on your finger, and you fill in a little divot like that. You can smooth it with water, and when that dries in paint, you won't see it. You can do this with all the seam lines. You do want to smooth this out before it dries, because you really can't sand it. Alright, so here's where we're at right now. What I've done is I put a second coat of this quick seal. After it dried, I went back and I found that by squirting just a little bit on the blade on this is a like a box cutter razor blade, and pulling it along, it filled, especially on the second coat. The first coat dried, it shrunk a little bit, so pulling that second coat on there and then feathering out the edges with a little bit of water, just put your finger in the water and feather that out. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to let this finish drying. See any small spots, just feather it out, because this stuff does not like to be sanded. I have a couple of these little rubies, and I cut the ruby part out of this and took my knife and made a little mark here. So I'm going to hot glue these onto here. Then I'm going to take this foam, roll it into a little snake and wrap it around. And that's foam. Don't call it mofo. It's foam. Got it? Okay. Alright, so I got the jewel hot glued into place. I'll take some of this foam, just pinch off some. Ooh, it's so soft. Very silky. Wow. So light too. It's incredible. I've never used this stuff before. It's new to me. But oh, really super easy to form and to work with. Very neat. So from what I've seen on other videos, wet the area around it. Wet the EVA foam, and this stuff has a 24-hour dry time. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to have to set it down, and I'll pick it up tomorrow and work on it again. This stuff does sand. You can sand it, but wow, you can get it pretty darn smooth with just a little water in your finger. So I'll keep working with it and we'll see what happens. Alright, so the FOMO has dried, and I like it. It's pretty cool. It has worked really well. I lightly sanded it, and it does sand nicely. I created this ridge with it and wrapped it around the jewel here, so I like it. It's nice. I did shorten the blade up a little bit. Somehow I got my pattern off and the blade was that much too long, and so once I laid this pattern right on the blade, I was like, how'd that happen? So I made that correction, put the caulking in, and we're ready to spray it with this stuff. I'll mask off this jewel before I do it. All right, we got 3 coats of this in black, and that is what it looks like. It's hidden a lot of the crimes, which is good. Now you can go over this with a caulking and smooth it out even further, but I'm happy with this. And now we'll go with a silver spray paint on the blade, and we'll see what that looks like. Use this paint here to paint the blade silver. Pretty happy with the way it looks. I'll be putting other coats of silver on it just to give it, you know, more depth, maybe weather it a little bit. Kind of like the handle black. I might do a little embellishment with 3-dimensional gold paint. So I've used this gold dimensional fabric paint around the jewel and up around the top of the blade there. I'll add some other colors of silver to the blade just to make it some accent colors, and we'll be close to done. And there we go. There's the finished dagger, all ready for a little cosplay. Super light and safe to use. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.